What is a cross motion for summary judgment? Brought to you by Kenneth Chabert at yourlegallegup.com. Your advantage if you're being sued by debt collectors. What do you do if you filed discovery requests, interrogatories, and requests for production, and you get a few lame little odds and ends in response? The debt collector has an old credit card statement, an affidavit swearing to the truth of the amount alleged as owed, and a bill of sale that doesn't even identify your account. Believe it or not, that's often all they produce. And if you look closely, you'll see that the affidavit is from an employee of the debt collector itself. How would they know what your original bill was? Of course, there's no way for them to know, and that means that they produced no competent evidence to you that you owe them money. What next? How do you show the court that the other side doesn't have any evidence to prove their case against you? What would be next, possibly, could be to file a motion for summary judgment. Motions for summary judgment are based, to put it briefly, on your argument that all the evidence taken together either proves that you do not owe the debt collector money, or that the other side cannot prove that you owe it money. In other words, either proves your case positively, or proves that they can't prove their case. Given the facts that we talked about above, the evidence presented by the debt collectors to you is inadequate to prove its case against you. In the first place, the bill of sale is too vague to support its claim to ownership of the debt at all with your name on it, as courts have required specific proof of ownership of the precise debt on which the debt collectors are trying to collect. That makes plenty of sense, right? They have to prove that they own the debt that they're trying to collect from you. And secondly, the affidavit by an agent of the debt collector is inadequate to prove that you ever owed the original creditor anything, or that you didn't pay it off before, and thus that you continue to owe anybody any money. So you figured out all that, and you're thinking about filing a motion for summary judgment, and wham, the debt collector files one first. What do? The appropriate response is a cross motion for summary judgment. That's a motion where you're saying, in effect, that not only should the court deny their motion for summary judgment, but it should also grant a motion for summary judgment to you against them. You can't just ignore their motion. Obviously, if you just file your own motion for summary judgment, you are arguing that they can't prove their case and are implicitly disputing their motion. But when they file their motion, they start a clock ticking. The rules of civil procedure give you a specific amount of time to respond. Let's say it's 30 days, but I don't know how much time it is in your jurisdiction. You should check your rules. So if you ignore their motion and file a separate motion for summary judgment 15 days later, that means that you're out of time to respond to their motion 15 days before their response to your motion is even due. In some jurisdictions, that might require that the judge grant their motion. Plus, the debt collector is certainly going to respond to your motion, and that means that by the time all the responses and replies to responses are scheduled to be over, their motion will have been unresponded to for a couple of months. And that's a powerful temptation to a judge, even if he or she isn't actually required to rule against you. If you file a cross motion for summary judgment, on the other hand, you tie the two motions together. You will extend the time before a ruling is due by the court by doing that, and that can be an advantage all by itself. And of course on the facts that we started with here, which come from an actual case someone asked me about, by the way, you should win the motion outright. The trick is that you have to oppose their motion and at the same time file your own motion asking for summary judgment. The materials in my summary judgment pack should help you file a cross motion if that's what you need to do. Protect what's yours and don't let the debt collectors rip you off. My site and materials can help. Go to yourlegallegup.com. Get my litigation manual and forums, or get the videos and defend yourself. You'll be glad that you did. You may not consider this video or anything I say in this or any video as legal advice. I cannot give you legal advice, but as a former lawyer, I do know the legal process and debt law very well. So use what I say as a source of information and apply your own judgment to your case. To get more help on fighting debt collectors and their lawsuits, go to yourlegallegup.com. Get my litigation manual and forms. If you appreciate this video, please take a second and like it, subscribe, and friend me, as these things will help others find my videos and begin to learn more about the debt litigation process. Defend yourself from the debt collectors. On Facebook or YouTube, as these things help others find my videos and begin to learn more about the debt litigation process. Defend yourself from the debt collectors.